See it popping on. Yeah. Oh, all right, we good. You
Yep,
live.
calm down.
Oh yeah. But y'all live on this, and y'all just late on that one.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to our beautiful people all around the world. Again, this is your brother Hubert Naeem Roberts, chairman of Black Lives Matter, Flint Grassroots. Also, I'm here with my brother, my beautiful brother Elliot. I am definitely part of Involved Dads, also Community Impact. We also part of Rites of Passage in Southwestern, working with ninth graders. Definitely want to put that plug out there. It's so important that we understand our commitment to our community and our most precious resources, which is our children and and our and our seniors, but mainly our children, because they can't be, a lot of times they cannot be what they don't see, and then a lot of times what they do see is a lie. So again, we have to work diligently about giving them the proper information, preparing them for the opportunities when they present themselves. So I want to open up and say good morning to my beautiful technician, Dr. Mickey, and then my beautiful brother, Mr. McCann. I'd like for him to say good morning to you guys.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Brother Elliot McCants. Sometimes y'all call me the professor. I'm an educator, been doing that grind for 30 years now. Been a longtime member of the community. Sometimes you see me, most of the time you don't, because people are really not, serious about making the changes that we're trying to make. As a former member and owner of the Rites of Passage program, but we still do certain things. I just might not as wide scale as it was before, but bit by bit, little by little. So we still work in our community, and we're glad to be here with my brother, Uncle Mickey Jordan, and my brother Hubert Roberts.
Yes, and so part of what we're going to be doing, guys, so give you guys a playbook. So some of the things along the line is that, and again, I want to put out this shameless plug. I do a Black Lives Matter does do Fly City Blackout, and so I do a piece there on Saturdays, a 1 hour piece there. But one thing we want to be laying out to our community is solutions. A lot of times we cry and we go through these different changes about incidents, about problems, and sometimes we get misguided. And so what we want to be doing through this process, and Mickey allowing us to be a part of this effort, we want to bring our community solutions along with some historical context, because you cannot really have an understanding about where you are today without understanding where and what happened yesterday, so we can be prepared for tomorrow. I would also like to start off, first of all, also by encouraging our community. I'm a cancer survivor with prostate cancer. One of the things that I'm an advocate of mental health, mental wellness, and really talking to Black men. Even before the invasion and the castration of our people on the African continent, historically it's documented that there was no prostate cancer or cancer on the continent of Africa before the encouraging of other groups of human beings coming on that shore and colonizing different countries on that continent. So again, we just want to deal with facts. So I just want to encourage our Black men and women, start men and our women, to encourage their men that they love, or anyone that you love, to get tested, to start getting your prostate tested with the finger and the blood. They found mine because I've been dealing with a brain tumor for 25 years. And throughout my yearly checkup, they do blood work. And although I'm being treated for the brain tumor, they noticed blood in my urine, and I'm stage 2 prostate cancer. I had 7 nodules on my left prostate. And yes, my phallus became smaller. And I'm honest to talk about some conditions that our Black men are afraid to talk about. And I'm 69 years old, and I'm not afraid to really have a conversation around what we need to do, how important early detection is, and all those kind of things that men do not want to talk about, because we have this fake ideology about our phallus and what the phallus mean, because the only thing we had somewhat to control in this society a little bit was our penis. You know what I mean? And then they chopped that off and put it in our mouth. But I just really wanted to share with our community the importance of getting checked. Your grandson, your grandfathers, uncle, cousin, fathers. I'm just putting that out in our community. Let's start having a conversation about how do we engage in healthy conversation about self-care, how important self-care is physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we have to be on the forefront about that. What do you think about that, Brother Ellen?
I think that that first and foremost, the most important position is you. All right, we can no longer decide that we're going to have whatever diet that we want to eat, and we can eat whatever we want to, um, unless we're able to work off the poisons that accumulates in our bodies as well. So one of the first physicians that we have before we go to a doctor who practices is you. So you have to be the one that makes sure that your diet's good, that you're eating what you're supposed to, you're eating how you're supposed to, and you're making your own checks for your on yourself as well, and including a doctor who is knowledgeable. The most One of the most important things though for you or us as individuals is we have to know. Okay, what I mean by that is this, and then we're going to get off into what we're here for. What we have to know, if you have like sinus, if you suffer with sinusitis, right? You say what causes it, what I can do to deal with it if I have to go see a professional. Don't go into any office with a person who practices medicine and you don't know your own playbook. You should know your own health. You should know the things that you can do and or alternatives that you can try before they make these assessments and practice whatever it is that they decide to practice on. And
Well,
just make a
clearly,
guess.
medicine is a practice. When you get to the fundamentals about it, is
But it wasn't before.
well,
Well,
not
if
not in
before,
our time. I
right,
mean,
but
with
right,
ancient time,
right. Before, if you told the root woman or the root man or whatever
right?
what was wrong with you, what were going on, or many times they could look at you and tell you
Tell
what's
you,
going on and
right,
prescribe a herb for you,
right,
tell you how to drink it, how to fix it, and it was cured.
right,
Now,
right.
with all of the way that big pharma and all of these other entities play a role in your health,
Your health,
they're not in there to make you healthy. They're in there to make you continue to keep you sick.
like Henrietta Lacks, the healer cells. I mean, you think about the greatness of our people always showing up every time they try to deny it. So getting to our text again, I want to make sure that we having a clear understanding of this conversation. We're going to be discussing through these parts of our engagement in our community to work on educating our community collectively. And again, our community and all of us have to be accountable. When you're not accountable, then you don't have to be responsible. What that really looks like, just look at this city. And I want to use this as our point of reference. When you look at Flint, Michigan, and you look at all of the projects, all of the building, all of the construction, everything that's going on in this city, do you know there is less than 2.3% of Black men or women working in any capacity on the expressway, on building, on tearing down these old houses? When you think about land bank, when this community is 67% Black, because why am I bringing this point up? I'm bringing this point up because we are getting ready for the midterms. What the Trump administration and these white supremacists are really working on doing is cheating like they always have done. They want to gerrymander in Texas because a lot of times we're going to get caught up with the football garbage. The other day, what they did with Shador Sanders, is, again, what white men have been doing since they took this country from the Native Americans that have been here for thousands of years. What they did to that young man to make him go 5th round. I don't watch sports, but I read and I study. And they told Deion Sanders, along with his son and along with everybody in the world, that we white men control the NFL and we pick and choose how you going to be used. The NFL is a plantation. Flint, Michigan is a plantation. Michael Parsons, that plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones just told him the other day, he called him out of his name. Did not refer to him as his slave name and said he didn't even know who Michael was. Now, the irony and the arrogance of a NFL owner who purchased a team for less than $300 million out of Kansas City, and then he was part of in the when Ruby Bridges was going to school, he was part of those children that was denying her
right to an education. That's right.
Denying her. He was there in the crowd. They got pictures of him. So again, when we talk about what does leadership look like, and we must go with what we're dealing with the mayor of this city and the city council. You got a community that needs jobs and opportunities. Part of the mayor's and the city council's responsibility is how do you heal your community, Mr. McCann? So if you heal in your community based on what is the economic power of a community. So you saying education got to be at the foundation of everything? Yes, to some degree. But then what about industry? What does industry really look like?
You have to have something for someone to do.
You got to.
Dr. UAP Newton said, we're given the illusion and the dream of a diploma and get eluded and dream about jobs that don't exist.
Don't exist.
So what that means is the other part of that is this. Are we teaching our children? Are we talking to our children to say, look, well, you might have to go ahead on and move to another country and move to another state or move somewhere else in order to make a living? That's part of an opportunity. Or better yet, even so, okay, well, go to some place where, and they really truly no longer exist. And we were talking about that earlier, where you can learn a trade, where you can learn how to solder copper,
concrete, carpentry,
concrete, and put in
insulation,
windows and all
air conditioning. Yeah,
but they also make it, because of unionization, make those limited for us as well.
Now I want you to go back, because I think this is a good point we can bring up, because before 1865,
we did all of that.
We did all of it. And then even after that, they created white unions to deny us. After we done taught them these trades, then they don't want us to be a part of them and kick us out of them because of white supremacy. So what we're trying to do to our community is make sure you guys have a fundamental understanding of why we are in the situation we are in today. And most of the fundamental situations why we are in the situation we are in today is because we have been systematically cut out of every opportunity.
Part of it is we really go look at what we call integration. What we call integrations. We gave our opportunities away.
Yes.
Because we wanted to be with another group. We talked about this yesterday during Conspiracy Tuesday. We wanted to be part of another group so bad that we gave everything away. We gave away being school teachers. We gave away, lumber yards. We gave away being masons. We gave away
being butchers.
Homes.
Yeah.
We gave away all of these things because we gave our community away.
That's beautiful. That's what we did.
Giving our community away, we gave away these jobs.
We did not integrate their community. They integrated ours. And again, when you think about just Flint, how many Black real businesses are in Flint?
Not
Something that we're trying to do at Black Lives Matter, Flint Grassroots, we're trying to put a compilation of legitimately Black business that are owned and operated by Black people. What does that look like? Because either 2 to 100 people are working at this business, but they actually own the property. own the business, because what does that qualify as a black business? And again, we're working to put a book together like they did with the Green Book, because when you look at Linden Road, Miller Road, and you think about these communities that have been broken up in our community and on purpose, because again, you always want to divide a community like this mayor have done with the senior building on Home Street and Pearson Road. He intentionally divided up after Eric Mays died. It was a concerted effort to destroy that center over there, and again to divide the people. And see, that's what we're working to do, is unite our community for a common voice that's going to be moving somewhat like the 10-point plan by the Panthers. I think that is the best model for all of us to use, because the 10-point plan from the Panthers started 50,000 years ago. Actually, it's really nothing new when you think about how we engage in our people and people collectively owning and being controllers of their environment and how they're going to leave a legacy. So we want to get down to some facts here. So the other day, people were up in arms about Leon El-Amin. Again, I will save it for the end of the show, my take on that. But I really want to get what people have been talking about with the so-called 17 people that were injured over the weekend. And when we talk a lot about injury or death or law enforcement, or how law enforcement is viewed or how we are viewed in this country, so white people can engage in fighting and acting a fool, and they will call that a brawl. Black people do anything like that, they call that gang violence. So Saturday in Flint, you had allegedly 17 people that was injured or something happened in this city. On that same day in Traverse City, 11 people were stabbed at a Walmart by a white man in Traverse City. Did y'all know about that? And then New York, 2 days ago, 4 people dead, 2 people wounded by a young man suffering from concussion from playing football, walked into a New York building and shot up several people and wounded 2. Atlanta, 3 days ago, 1 dead, 10 wounded. Florida, 4 days ago, 1 dead, 2 wounded. Reno, Nevada, 3 days ago, 3 dead, 3 wounded. Texas, 4 days ago, 2 dead, 15 wounded. North Carolina, Thursday, 1 dead, 5 wounded. LA, daily, people are dying daily in LA and don't never be reported. Lexington, Kentucky, 3 days ago, 2 dead, 3 wounded. Why do I bring that up? Okay, a lot of times we talk about hate. Why are we killing one another? Before we talk about anybody else killing us, because law enforcement, I want to make this clear to our community, and I know y'all may get mad about this. Law enforcement in this country was started and created. How, Mr. McCann?
But they were the ones that patrolled the plantations to make sure that nobody escaped from them. So that's where you get the patrols from, the slave patrols. And if they didn't catch the person that supposedly left, they would find somebody else and bring them back to assume the position.
That's right. And even that is where your Second Amendment, because to be able to have a militia that is equipped to somewhat repel some drama that's going on in our community, and the drama was slaves running away to be freed.
And
go ahead.
Them being able to own firearms to defend themselves.
Come on now.
That was really how the Second Amendment come about.
Yes.
It wasn't about, they added the other element as well because of the militia. But what they didn't want to have happen was African people, and this really came about, it was enforced even more after Harper's Ferry, John Brown and Harper's Ferry,
yes,
in 1859. But it was, we don't want them to have guns because we fear that they're going to turn those guns on us.
Yes, that's it.
So a lot of times, even in the battles that we fought, right, and we decided we was going to join the effort to help America for whatever reason, after all of the heck and hell and high water we suffered and dealt with them, is we wanted to make sure that you didn't turn those guns on us. So there's always a fear that if we got weapons, instead of us shooting the enemy, we turn around and shoot the people that were that formerly held us.
Right, right.
So we can't give them ammunition. So even though there was two regiments that
right.
was important during the Civil War,
Right.
the 54th and the 55th.
Right.
The 55th, who went in first at Fort Sumter, only had bayonets at the end of their rifles. They did not have ammunition. The 54th did because they came in afterwards.
That's right.
But the 55th did not, because they were afraid, by them being former property of the people in the South, that they may come and turn around and do damage to us. So we're going to let them go in with bayonets.
It's amazing you bring that up, because my brother was an Air Force sergeant in Vietnam, and he said they had many skirmishes with a lot of white soldiers where black soldiers had to protect themselves from white soldiers during Vietnam. Now you think about that.
That's only 45 years ago.
You fighting some people that you shouldn't be in their land to begin with, but then you got to watch your back and protect yourself from white people trying to shoot you and talking about what they say,
friendly fire.
Friendly fire.
Yeah.
That
ain't friendly. Ain't nothing friendly about you shooting me in my back because you want to get rid of me.
And that's the hallmark of this country and the policing. They don't want no video recording of them. Now you think about this. I don't believe in calling the police. Number one, you people that call the police, to me, are cowards, and y'all part of the problem. I don't think no police officer, black or white, should be called to a situation. We need to handle our own situation. That's my opinion. And I do believe that those police officers that have shot and killed black and brown people, the same thing should happen to them and their family. That's how I feel. And I'm rolling with that until I die. And again, it's our fault for allowing these people like George Zimmerman, Carl Rittenhouse to walk around here free and nothing happened to them. That's unacceptable. And that's why they continue to disrespect us, men and women, and do anything to us, because we will not fight back. It's time for us to really fight back. Now, I will say another thing about our situation, because we don't produce, own, make, or control anything in this country. That's why we've let ourselves become so vulnerable in this country. Our biggest commodity is entertainment, and we buy everything. Whenever we work, we spend all our money on the illusion to be included in an evil, sadistic, just an evil country, because anytime you can let people out of jail, out of prison, that committed sedition, committed treason, and the Supreme Court, and along with this Trump administration, is a legal operation and nobody's holding them accountable, this is going to be a dangerous situation, Brother McCann. What do you think?
Well, what you have here is you have these other people who control the monies for real. And it's not the Bill Gates, and we talked about this yesterday. It's not the people with new money. It's the people with old money. The Carnegies, the Heinz, the
Standard Oil, Rothschilds,
the Vanderbilts, all of these people with old money who are benefiting from what's happening to other people. But this is their way of the world in the first place.
And then share where,
baby, how you doing? We glad you're here.
And then share where they got the old money from. I think this is a good segue, because let's talk about how they got the old money.
About this, the old money they got from the Knights Templar, who were ferrying people from the old England to Jerusalem, and they made money that way, right? So we talked about this yesterday during Conspiracy Tuesday. So, but even though they took a vow of poverty, they were still charging people. And what they did was they turned that money into power. So they were able to buy kingdoms. They were able to help topple kingdoms. So all of these wars that happened during what they call feudal times, They wasn't just we mad at the queen, we mad at the king, we're gonna go do something. No, somebody had to fund that. They funded both sides. So no matter what side won,
They were
they
good.
benefited from it.
And so again, and why this is important, we need to understand that why are we talking about this psychotic behavior about the level of killing that's taking place every day in this country and in the world? And again, it's not by accident that I'm going to throw this in there. It's not by accident that Hiram Maxim in 1884, Hiram Maxim invented the machine gun.
Right.
I want to come back to that because this is a very important element that I want to make. But I really want to talk about when we talk in terms of the prison and jail. Right now, there are 41,000. Listen to me, community. 41,000 companies that profit from prison labor.
Okay.
41,000 companies. Now we want to say they eliminated slavery or enslavement, but the other name is if you get convicted of a crime, you will be sent to prison.
Right.
Now you are enslaved again.
Right.
And we are calling for the prisoners to go on a strike to stop making any garments or anything for these Fortune 500 companies.
They can't do that because if they do so, then they'll end up being dead. Okay, there was one of the persons.
There has to be a sacrifice, Brother McCann.
I don't. Yeah, we with it because the first and foremost, you sacrifice yourself by going to prison.
Thank you.
That's what you shouldn't have done in the first place.
Okay.
So you act like you didn't have a choice, but you chose not to have a choice, and you chose that, so you got to deal with it. Now,
so when you say the choice, because my community have nothing, so now I'm perpetrating on my community, or I'm exploiting my community for drugs or whatever because that's all they give me. So if you don't give me no education or nothing, what am I supposed to do?
It's not incumbent on somebody else. It's like asking the hyena to feed the lion cub.
That's right.
That's not happening. It's not supposed to happen. So once we have given away our community, because we did in the 60s, we gave our community away. And they said up there, well, it's no problem. We're going to take your money. And we don't have a problem with taking your money. We don't want your people to take your money.
So that goes back to the lion telling the story as opposed to the hunter, right?
Well, if the lion tells a story, then the hunter always lose.
Come on now.
You're not going out there to hunt a lion without something to make sure you protect yourself. You're not going out there with the same thing the lion got because you end up losing.
And that's when the NAACP and Urban League was complicit.
Well, not only that, but so were most of the so-called leaders that were sitting over there, especially in the 60s. Well, we can go back to the 50s. In the 50s and the 60s, that were complicit as well in selling out our community.
That is very, very important because, again, what we are talking about is solutions. So does the solution look like this, Brother McCann, when we think about in all aspects about everything that we as a people use, we should own?
Absolutely. But what that means is that we can if you work for somebody, let's say I work for this place over here, and but I know that I'm a teacher, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
As a teacher, I may work for a district, but that doesn't mean that I can't say for a small fee I can tutor and or I can start to teach these other classes. But you have to pay me for my time. And what we don't want to do is that we'll figure that, see, people, if it doesn't come out of their pocket, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So as long as we're sending my children to school, they're getting something. Now, on the other part about that is I'm not educated enough myself, so I'm okay with them getting whatever they get. But I can't add anything to it, nor do I try to add anything to it. But I don't want to pay for some extra in order to get my child or myself ahead because I've already paid for it at one time. It comes out in your taxes, so you don't ever see it.
Right.
But if I say, okay, look, we're going to find a spot, and we're going to set up a class. Me and Brother Robert's going to set up a class. Me, Brother Robert's, Brother Mick, we're going to set up a class, and we're going to meet on Thursdays from 6 to 8. You maybe one or two people will show up, but after that it'll be crickets.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because then if we're asking you to come out of your pocket, even if it's $20 a person, and that's $60,
Mm-hmm.
and you pay that 4 times a month, that's $240.
Mm-hmm.
We're not eating off of it. That just allows us to get more materials, but in that hour's time, you get all of this information. You don't want to do it. I just look it up on the internet. See,
Well,
I'm lazy.
Well, again, when you think about that construct, again, if we go back to our ancestors in pre-enslavement, there's a difference between education and knowledge. And again, it's so profound because you can get a PhD in this country and not know anything about Black culture, but you cannot get a GED in this country and not understanding white culture clearly.
This country is okay.
So clearly, the demarcation is this: when you talked about the $20 or providing this freedom school or these kind of supplemental approaches to how our children are being educated, and I really bend on this part that our most precious resources is our children.
No problem.
At all costs, our children should be learning as much knowledge, not just education. I'm talking about historical knowledge to help build them up to be the human beings that God created them to be powerful thinkers and innovators that they come from.
Okay.
Because
Go ahead. That requires all hands on deck. That requires, I know if I look at the Michigan State curriculum that they're not going to teach these things. Let me find out, because I have to sacrifice some time where else I can take my children and myself to go learn some additional things. And maybe even if you stay a day or two or a month, that'll set up. It was okay for you to go after that, but continue the ball rolling. And what people don't want to do is they don't want to put that time in. Well, on Thursday from 6 to 8, I could be watching a basketball or football game. On Thursdays from this, I could be doing something else. Well, but that means you're telling your child that they're not important.
Yes, sir.
So even if you go, it's like, when they're talking about this book and they brought up this person, they mention these people, and I can go look these things up on the internet. Are you really going to take that knowledge and turn it into education so it can be applicable? And that's what education is supposed to do. Okay, so education is supposed to do what basically? Basically, what education is supposed to do, right? It has two main components and ideas that it's supposed to do. Number one, it's supposed to change what's going on in your society. Okay. So there's social justice and social change. If you inform a group of people that they're going through some things that are incorrect and out of order, then what happens is, because they now have knowledge of things that are out of order, they're able to make an informed decision based upon the knowledge, wisdom, and hopefully some understanding, so that they can make the changes in their environment so that they can better have a better future. Now that's Paulo Freire, real quick. Paulo Freire wrote a book called The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And I read that book when I was in college, when I was going back to get my second degree in education. That was a book that set me on fire. He come from Sao Paulo, Brazil. His thing was, don't wait for them to come to you. Sometimes you got to go to the community. But they had a very rural community, and these people were getting screwed over. So what he would do is have his teachers, and he was a teacher in the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And on off days, a part of their labs was to go out and inform the community what was going on so that they could know, so they wouldn't be screwed over by the politicians who are just taking money for however they want to take it and going from there. Well, the foundation of all that, again, and I kind of differ with you, because the whole construct of power and understanding what power is if we go from the priesthood, because you got the priesthood of those people that are knowledge
and they don't want to share.
See,
Let me
we're
make
not
a point.
talking about the priesthood that's really a priesthood. This stuff is not a priesthood.
What,
These people are liars.
well, let me make my point. So when we think about the construct of education as opposed to education and knowledge, and what has always been used as a weapon is my point.
Okay.
Because the weapon is, why would I want to educate you? Most white people in this country, in the early history of this country that owned slaves, couldn't read either. Most white people in America that owned slaves could not read themselves. Now that's a fact.
Okay.
So then when you couple that with the construct of making sure that when the Quakers came over here, because the Quakers was the one that instituted to a greater degree the collective of even the poor being educated, because again, you just made the reference or the framework of how you're going to be informed to make positive decisions if you don't know or have a fundamental understanding of education or form of education. Many of us in this country have been educated to hate each other. We have been educated.
That's indoctrination. That's different.
Part of the indoctrination has been the tools that have been used to making sure that if we don't use a certain criteria, then we're not going to be accepted into this evil society or the matrix.
Okay.
So, now, wait a minute, let me make this point. My granddaughter just finished part of her degree. So she had to take a state test. Mm-hmm. She missed it by one question, broke her heart. I mean, we've been trying to put her back together for the last 3 weeks.
So she can get it together and go ahead on and attack it.
But the point I'm making to this is most of the tests in this country are skewed.
I'm a school teacher. I've been doing
based
this for 30
on
years.
white construct.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is education, if you understand what education is, yes, it is to a degree indoctrination, but so is understanding our worldview. That's indoctrination as well. Not a problem. But education is about solving a problem. It's about social justice and social construct and reconstructing the society so that at least I get some benefit from it. Yes, she's going to a university that's white. It's a white school. Mm-hmm. Yes, she got to go take this test and pass it in order to get in. But what's her mindset when she gets there? I had to go through the same thing. But I was very clear that my mindset was about defeating this system that's been eating us and chewing us up, because I came in with a different worldview. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so my position about when I read his book, and it talked about education, true education is about the application of knowledge to make things better for the society. That's what it's about. Most people want to get in just to get a job. Well, I know a lot of people that want to go get what do they call those weird degrees? Liberal arts degrees that don't mean a damn thing. You can't do nothing with it. Well, I was clear when I went to school what I was going to school for.
Well, the only thing I push back on you is that, and no disrespect to your prowess, but if I'm, again, with this country being a legal enterprise, there's no element that they want to share or any kind of power. And even when they say about the collection of education, and so you go from Harvard or Yale, we're going to make sure that only a few, and they have to go through what we choose for them to go through, that they're going to be accepted. Wait a minute.
No, I agree with that. But on the other side of that, if you go in without a worldview, they're going to skew you to what their view is. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with all that. But for our audience,
I went in with a view saying, "Hey, look, I'm fighting the power." That's it.
But for our audience, I think we must be clear about collective work. I think if we can be clear about some solutions, even when we think about the educational realm, because a lot of times people are gifted in a degree or are did well in school, and they're not working in the degree that they actually got a degree in. And so what I'm saying for our community, because I believe all of us are scholars, we just have to be more clear about how we are moving our community for the working to repair the brokenness in our community. Okay, so and what I'm saying is we need to take more ownership of educating our youth and one another,
saying the same thing, brother.
where we can collectively control the destiny of our community and one another. We should not be tripped up by the city council or the mayor.
Those people don't matter. That's what, and I'm saying, this is what
They
I'm saying.
matter because they control the money.
Okay,
So come on now, they matter.
No, they don't matter. If I have my own home where I say I can open my house up to some people to come over and study, this is what it's going to cost.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't control that.
I
control that.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So if we can go to a church. Let's say, well, I don't know what church you go to, but if we have, well, I know what church you. My fault. We go to a church or build. Somebody say, "Oh, look, let us use a building so we can do this program." Not a problem, right? So you go in and you do. So they can't control that. The city council don't matter. They not, unless you want to come in and come in, sit down and get a lesson. That's what you come in for. But you can't tell me what I can't do on the property I pay taxes and pay bills at. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no. Yeah.
So,
until they come in with eminent domain. But
that's fine. They can do that too.
Respect that.
But like if you if for me, I'm gonna say me again.
Yeah.
Right. So you gotta. My son decided he wanted to play. He a drummer. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not supposed to just teach him. I'm supposed to let other people that I know and trust and love his family teach him so he can be better than me.
That's right.
That's the job.
That's the job.
And now that it's happening, now people, hey man, I need your son to go study. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do.
That's it.
But he's also got inside of him all of these, the discussion that you and I have had, me and Uncle Mick, me and his other uncles, me and other people have had, he's got those as well. So he has a world view. So then when he goes out in the world, he's very clear about what it is that he's doing. What we're not doing is we're not making sure that our children have the view that they're supposed to have. So when they go out there, regardless of the skewed test and the skewed institutions, I just talked to somebody that's going to Saginaw Valley. And I told them, you're going up there and it's going to be racist. They're going to make you want to quit. But it's your job to be determined not to do so. Right?
I agree.
And it's also to go and because most of us don't think that it's important for us to know who we are, which is sad.
I think that's foundational.
Okay? And that's foundational because if we knew who we are, we would be like Vivian Lewis. We would be like Patricia Bath. We would be like these other people. We would be like Dr. George Washington Carver, who had a chance to go to Congress or had a chance to go work for Henry Ford, but he decided to go to Tuskegee because he was very clear what his job was and who he was working for.
What his assignment was. Right.
So what we've done is we said, well, y'all can go anywhere. What the big schools have done is say, well, we can help you get out of poverty. And so that's fine. You can help me get out of poverty. But if we have a mindset that says, this is who I belong to, and I belong to these people, and I'm not going to be disrespectful of these people. There's no disrespect to people doing what they do, but you wouldn't have the kind of the silliness that we have out there where they're going to gravitate towards other people who don't have their best interests. Or we're going to be out here doing stuff that I got to apologize for.
No, that's clear because, and I wanted to make sure that we are clear about keeping this very clear about, doing analysis of Flint and the value of the residents of this community. When you just talked about that element of education, there is no excuse for our children going out to the suburbs, number one, that we don't have a clear invested interest in building and making sure and maintaining that our children are able to walk to school from their homes like we used to, where they can attend after school activities. Because again, all this is by design. When you think a charter school or these kind of charter school is a business contract, when you think about the shareholders, because a charter school is based on profit. And so when you got these, they want to skew education, and you got these individuals where you got generations of people that can't read or can't write. When you talk about just the basic fundamental process of being to live in a society, and we look at Flint, Michigan, just Flint, Michigan. Wait a minute. They got over 40,000 people in Flint, Michigan that has felonies. Okay. Over 40,000. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me make my point before you go there. I'm trying to get our community to think collectively about how we need to re-engineer our thinking based on our personal value, and then breaking down some of the jealousies and the enviness that we have for one another that have been built up based on someone else's ideology.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So
we have been trained and taught to treat each other in families disrespectfully in many aspects and fighting over crumbs, when downtown right now, the downtown DDA, uptown development, wage trim, all of the entities that run this city give black and brown people crumbs, and we do not demand collectively. Yes, we'll go over and run over to events that Maurice Davis is doing, or people will be talking on platforms like this and not engaging in any solutions. Like you said, on the block on Philadelphia Street, we've been engaged in talking to somebody there to open up a house for tutoring. Again, we've been engaged in opening up a house because, as you said, it block by block. How do we change Flint? Block by block.
You have to go person by person, block by block,
person by
family by
family by family.
People have to be engaged in it because we have to see that there's something wrong. Because if you're in survival mode, most of the time, only thing I'm concerned about is how I can eat today.
Mostly. Okay. And that's intentional.
So if we're very clear about that, right? The purpose of education, again, is social change and social justice.
I agree.
We're very clear that things are dysfunctional. Then I'm not relying on a council person. I'm not relying on a mayor. I'm not relying on a police department. I'm not relying on those people because they don't show any interest in what I need to do. But the other part about that, the biggest thing is starting in September, you're going to have a bunch of people in school. And I'm not relying on the school to educate my child.
You have to some degree, because if you got three generations of people, wait a minute, man. If you got three generations of people that can't read and write, again, man, we're dealing with extreme poverty and stratification of the income. So a lot of times that's what you're saying to some degree, and no disrespect to you, Brother Ellie, but a lot of times we want to look through rose-colored glasses about our condition.
100 years ago, we were poor 150 years ago, coming off the plantation, when we had 19 million people as a population, and we had 16 million people that decided they were going to go to school under worse duress than what we have now.
I agree.
And what we're talking about, and you're absolutely right, I agree, is we've been taught that this is a rosy situation instead of understanding, no, we still got to fight.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to sit around there and say, hey, you know what, my kid can't do math because I can't do math. Hell no, if I can't do math, that's my fault. But you going to learn.
Thank you. Well,
and that's what I'm talking about. Where education changes. I may have a deficit in reading, but since you my son, you can't have that deficit, and I want you to teach me. And if you can teach me, then I can learn how to read. And so therefore, that deficit's gone.
Now, on that point, I agree with you, because it reverts back to, why would some idiot put a studio in a county jail, which is totally unacceptable, when the whole construct of the prison industry is a $3 billion industry. So when we think about education, again, the fallacy is they have no intentions unless we collectively, like you just said, we can't get along with just living on the same block with one another to be territorial about a block that we don't own. We don't own, and we renting.
Right.
Now you think about that.
So
we renting,
fighting over rental property that make that make sense.
And so I'm mad at you because now you got a charger, or your daughter then graduated, or your son then graduated from some school, and y'all spend $2,000 on a dress for a prom. To me, that's tap two to the head.
But that's once again, that's not true education.
No, at all.
Education is, you know what? We're not gonna get you a $2,000 dress. I might be able to get you a $250 dress, and I'm not gonna spend thousands of dollars on no cars. I'm not doing that.
Unacceptable.
But what I will do though is make sure that you have $1,000 to $1,500 worth of books.
Books.
Facts.
Okay. And again, but I'm saying back to the brainwashing. What I'm saying to our community, what we're debating is how do we shift collectively to hold our community accountable and responsible? Because wait a minute, because all this, and I believe that there are evil people in this society. That it has been proven, and many of them look like me and you because they have been trained and they have been genetically modified to destroy black and brown people, like Clarence Thomas and Ben Carson. And again, and the basketball players and football players like, LeBron James, all of them are included in it. Because again, when you are engaged in certain levels of making sure that the status quo is kept, and you're not going to be bold to kick the door in and saying that I'm going to put money in Flint, Michigan, regardless of what anybody else say, my foundation, my plantation, I don't care who says anything. I'm going to make sure that I adopt this school, I adopt this neighborhood, the north side. Do you know $1 billion could change the north side of Flint? $1 billion could change the north side of Flint.
Absolutely.
Totally. And again, when you think about there are only 5 billionaires in America that are black and brown. Only 5. There are 615 white billionaires. I'm saying not millionaire, billionaires that can make a tremendous impact. So again, it goes back to value, what we value. We don't value one another, and systematically we've been taught, trained, and bred not to value one another. So what our conversation as we move and hopefully Mick invite us back is we want to give our community solutions about how we can reevaluate. How do we revalue one another?
Demonstration. Let me give a quick demonstration.
All right.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
How you doing today, brother?
Hey, doctor.
All right. Good. How's your day?
I'm excited and ecstatic to be here.
Beautiful. How's the family?
Family is great.
Good. My brother. I love you.
Love you too.
That's how fucking simple is that?
That's good.
How simple is that?
That's simple.
So we start with that, a hug and a greeting.
Wow.
Right? If we start with showing some love. Nephew, what's going on? How you doing?
Yes.
Oh, man. Hey, young fella, you walk by me, man. Come here. What's the problem? You mad? What you mad about?
Yes.
Okay. We have to start engaging in some sort of dialogue and start like, hey, I see young people all the time. And hey, man, you good? Hey, yeah, I don't have no money. Oh, come on over here. I need you to tie this pile of shrubs up and put it on the corner, and here's $20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how we start to break that, because it's not about tearing up the family. It's about mom, dad, or mom and or dad, or mom, dad, grandma, whatever. We're supporting you by doing something simple as this, by helping you out, by saying we care.
We care.
And once we start to say, hey, brother, hey, sister, and I'm not, hey, sister, I'm trying to get at you. No.
And you know, it's amazing you say that, because y'all think about how it was systematically dumbed down. Now, before in the 50s and 60s, that's how we engage one another.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
brother.
Hey, my brother.
Hey,
What's
brother.
Hey,
sister.
My brother, how you doing?
You know what I mean? And then they want to come up. And again, when we are celebrating positive poetry, like the last poets, right?
Man,
and then they want to come with this gangster mess, which they blew up and promoted to destroy our community, because words are power.
Right.
Words got power now, y'all.
I just
wait a minute. Words got power, and I wanted to share with Mickey and his sister, because they were using the term picnic, pick a nigga. And a lot of times what words do throughout the history of mankind moves like music. Okay. It's like blood flowing through your body.
Hold on. Hey, pull that up by Winters. That she just said men think that's being soft. But those are not men, sweetheart. Those are not men. I don't have a problem. Like, he got a cologne on today. I'm getting ready to find out where he got this cologne at. I mean, I like it. Right? Or Mika had on some shoes the other day. Hey, man, where you get them shoes from?
That's right. And I'm supposed to tell him where I got it from. Right.
So, it ain't I ain't going to tell you where I got it from, because I'm trying to get all of the women or whatever. But we're not talking about men. We're talking about men.
There's a difference.
I don't have a problem with, as a musician, hey, baby, what's going on? And people look at that's gay. No, it's not. That's how musicians talk.
The cologne I got on is mesmerized
Hey,
by
don't tell
Avon.
everybody it's for me.
By Avon.
I'm just playing, right? So, but that's the difference. It's about being men.
That's the difference.
We're not talking about these boys. We're not talking about these soft people that are raised up that y'all think are men. They're not men.
And that's why the study of from the 30s to the 60s is so important in the black community,
Right,
man.
because you have men.
Real men, man.
Shirt and tie.
Come
and
on.
I'm not saying that we all have to do that now because we're super lax and comfortable with that. But shirt and tie.
I believe in shirt and tie.
And I'm gonna wear shirt and tie with this when I go start school, dude. I ain't just doing shirt and tie.
I
Right?
love shirt
We're
and tie.
talking about men. We're talking about men that if you call me at 2:00 in the morning with a flat tire, here I come. And I'm not asking you for anything.
See,
we're talking about men that say, if you have a problem and you come knocking on my door and you go on in there and you fix you something to eat and whatever, and I'm going upstairs to lay down. But you at home.
And
we're talking about men. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about men that would say, hey, look, let me tell you something, young fella. This is my daughter. She's the most precious thing that I will go to jail for her. Your ass will be dead.
My man.
If you cross my daughter.
Come on.
Those are men. We're not
Accountability.
talking about these crybabies out here who whine, hoop, and holler when they get on the platform because they soft and they ain't worth a damn. Those are not men.
Accountability.
I'm talking about men that are accountable.
Accountability. And again, when you think about that whole construct of man, and again, many of us got to realize we have a nurturing side.
Absolutely.
See, again, we must be honored and understand and teach our young boys how to be nurturers.
Right.
That if you do fall and hurt yourself and you need to cry, it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to hug. I have a shirt that I wear sometimes that say free hugs. Right. And I'm serious about that. I would stand down on the corner downtown Flint, Michigan by 501 with my grandson. We've done that. And we gave away free hugs. Yep. And white people was just crazy. They was like, are you serious? I said, come hug a black man. Don't be afraid. So again, it's those kind of things that we must feel comfortable about. But I must say that we need to really, really help celebrate our men that are doing the wonderful things, because so many, when you think about how our men are broken early as little boys.
Done by design. Wait a minute. Let me get this book for you. Go ahead.
When they are little children, they are broken because a lot of times you have communities that have not been prepared to be able to celebrate our children the way they need to be celebrated. And so I was raised, I'm from Chicago, born in Chicago, Cook County Hospital, Robert Taylor Home.
Flintstone.
But I was raised in St. John Village.
Flintstone.
And Flintstone. And that village, again, many of the men in that village, and some of them had two families. But they weren't playing when it came to participating in and many of them couldn't read. But they made sure they taught us how to farm, how to garden.
And that's what I'm
saying.
Taught
us how to cook, how to clean squirrel. I can clean a squirrel.
I won't do it.
But I'm just saying, they would go hunting, fishing. They taught us those things because they came from the South, and then those are skills from Africa. Right. So they were mimicking, even though many of them got turned out, but they were mimicking what their ancestors was in their DNA already, y'all. And see, that's another thing. We ashamed to be black. No. We ashamed to be connected to our African DNA because we have been so westernized, and that's why many of us are polluted now. We are genetically modified Negroes in this country. We're not even real Negroes in this country. Okay. So wait a minute, man. Most of us, again,
one time we're gonna fight, brother.
Calm down. No, most of us got enslaved names, our names, and that's why white people are so, they beat their chest, because they come back with us, say, I own you, boy and girl, because your name not even your name. Your name is based on somebody that own you.
Right.
And how many of us can retort back and say and know the community or the culture that we came from on the continent of Africa?
Right, absolutely.
How many can even say that right now?
And that's very important.
Okay.
Right. So what's also important is like the skills, we were just talking about it. There are many men that when they left the South and come to the North, very little education, but they had skills.
That's right.
And it was undeniable about who we are, who I am as a man, and that's never gonna be challenged. What happened is during the 50s, and go look at the movie Claudine.
Come on.
For y'all that want to think that somebody telling a lie and just blaming people. The system used welfare and to break the family up.
That's right.
So therefore, now is they were telling you, and they'll tell you if you go to if somebody gets Section 8, go find out. You can't have your man around
at all.
The movie Claudine with Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones showed you how this was going on. She had to keep him out of the house in order to even date, and to a point where he was like, I'm not doing this no more.
No.
Why are you going to keep me out of the house? I'm here to help you raise your son. It's not my son.
Not my son.
Right? So then now, later on, as we continue to roll down this mountain, I can do this by myself. But look kind of ends up turning out.
And the men are the natural protectors.
That's our job. So when it is, black men are protecting black women, well, you adopted somebody else's ideology too.
And that's why the whole profile when high-tech lynching, when they shoot us in the back of the head or they shoot us today, the police do, all that's intentional psychological warfare.
It's psychological
they
warfare.
Want to show the killing of Rodney King and George Floyd and all those kind of acts of violence are intentional on the minds of our children because they want you to grow up afraid of this system and not willing to fight back and stand 10 toes down. No, regardless of how it goes down, you want to make sure that you are committed to the upliftment of your people as a whole and making sure that you are fighting against any white suppression, white ideology that's saying that you need to stay in this box. And I'm going to do all I can to make sure you're a football player or a basketball player. Because, again, they have no control or no kind of influence on our community because all of it is an illusion. Right. How many of those Negroes that play sports have really done what Troy Aikman did to his community? Right. Troy Aikman went back and built a whole school, community center, houses in his community. How many black athletes left Flint and did the what's his name, Trent Tucker? How many do the Trent Tucker? Right. And because what we need to start doing is calling people out. A lot of times we afraid to call pastors out. We don't want to call nobody out. When you are screwing the community, we don't want to hold black men and women accountable. Now we know white people and other people of other cultures, especially when you're dealing with money and the whole concept of capitalism, because we must be clear. Capitalism is based on greed, period. It has no love for the poor, for the working class. Capital is about capital, and I got all the money and I still don't have enough. And that's capitalism. Was Charles Stewart Mott, was my man Buick, DuPont, Firestone, Standard Oil, all that, Carnegie, Oldsmobile, Cadillac, Dodge, Ford, all that's capitalism. They don't care nothing about the poor. No. And they had to fight, even when you think about the sit-down strike in 1936 and 37. Charles Stewart Mott said, and you can read it in the book, The Ghost of Flint, he said, kill those people in that factory. When those men and women would strike, Charles Stewart Mott said, kill them. Yep. That's what Charles Stewart Mott. Now let somebody come on and denounce that. That's what he said. And so you want to glorify this madness in this country, even General Motors, and the impact of General Motors and what it did. We failed by letting General Motors leave here, number one. Shouldn't have never left the way they left. General Motors should have a tremendous impact in this country, in this community today. And many of when they was going to outsource, a lot of those foremen and general foremen knew that they was getting ready to break them up and develop a parts factory, and they opened up in Novi, in Brighton, in Howell, Michigan. A lot of those white guys were able to get $1 million contracts and get jobs in their communities where black and brown people got to go outside of their community to get some kind of job when they knew they was going to break up those industries. Right. And all that's by design. When you think about who's at the table, and again, we need to build our own table.
All right, we were talking about that before, where yesterday we were talking about how we have people men and women of color who helped build multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar companies. And now that this DEI stuff's happening, okay, well, let's give me a group of people and we'll start our own. Right?
Yep.
We'll start our own. So it's not that you don't have the resources that you can't train up, because if the politicians and other people and business owners who are setting the curriculum for your schools, for the schools that we teach at, right? And the schools that we send our children to. And again, I'm gonna say this. You said it earlier. We send our children to other communities to get an education, and they come back doing what? And come back knowing what? Nothing.
Nothing.
They come back knowing absolutely nothing.
Broken. They come back broken.
Education doesn't take place over there. It takes place at home.
It does. It does.
Education takes place at home.
And again, when you flip it, and again, we must be clear, because again, we are trying to bring solutions, guys. So what's solutions look like, Brother Elliott? Part of the solution to our community collectively here in Flint, Michigan, is going to have to be some boldness taken, because if you look at the past and you look at our ancestors, if you go back 50,000 years, 10,000, 20,000 years, 30,000 years, and there are elements. Again, when you think about the manna nature, when you think about writing, astrology, science, art, music, all those constructs are based from a Black African-centered understanding. A lot of times when you think about education or knowledge based in the universe, on the universal order of things, when you're thinking about how the universe is set up and how everything has a place in an order. If you look at ants, if you look at birds, and birds are diversity. They want to fight against diversity. This whole planet is diverse.
It's one group of people who decides that they want to destroy everything instead of build everything up.
Exactly.
Yeah, hold that thought right there, fellas. I didn't want to rush y'all. We're going to have to do part 2.
Okay.
All right.
I gotta get, I got to bounce. But if y'all want to say any parting shots before we close it down, because I love this conversation with y'all. So I'm bringing y'all back. Just know.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, again, we always want to make sure that we are doing our part as far as honoring our ancestors with the truth. And again, we are open for correction too. But one thing that Mr. Elliott and I, we do a lot of extensive reading, and knowledge and history is always ongoing. Right. It's never ending, guys. No. But there is some proof in the pudding when you look at what our community look like today and why we need to do some things differently. And I'm a proponent of boycotting. So again, I'm Brother Hubert Naeem Roberts. My phone number is 810-394-4105. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Flint, Michigan. We are looking for people to come on board and be a part of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, Flint. If you are a real Negro and really want to be engaged in lifting up our community and working for changing our community, don't be afraid to be Black. Please give me a call or hit me up on my email. We do have programs in and out of schools. I'm part of also Urban Boy Scout across from Regency Condos on the Pier Road. Dr. Elliott.
All right. My name is Brother Elliott McCants. My wonderful lady. Well, I'm not gonna mess with you. God could be here. Could be listening.
Lord have mercy.
I don't care nothing about that shit. I know she gave me the name.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, again, I'm an educator, community activist on a different level. You don't always need to see me, but know that I'm always working.
Facts.
And we'll see you all again, Brother Elliott McCants.
And I just want to say this: a lady said, "Bucket in a crab. Crabs are not in buckets." Bye. Love you.
It's just analogy. Just analogy piece, man.